Hey there, fight fans. Welcome back to another episode of the Ranch Boxing Podcast. I'm your host, Fernando Robles, coming at you from Tucson, Arizona, where we have really nice weather outside, 76 degrees, unlike the rest of the country, which is mostly under snow and ice right now. It's always nice in Arizona here during the winter where we get really nice weather. Speaking of really nice things, we had a lot of nice boxing and a whole lot of fights this weekend, including the UFC. But more so than anything, a whole lot of boxing from all over the world. We're going to get into it. We're going to start here with the most popular card of the weekend. It was the pay-per-view live on DAZN, Madison Square Garden. Shakur Stevenson is able to pitch a near shutout against Teofimo Lopez, taking Teofimo Lopez's 140-pound championship, the WBO super lightweight, improving to 25-0. And Teofimo falling to 22-2. The undercard on this, Keyshawn Davis is able to score a TKO win against Jermaine Ortiz, sending Ortiz down to the canvas in rounds 11 and finishing him off in the 12th. Keyshawn Davis improves to 14-0. Jermaine Ortiz, his record goes to 20-3-1. In other action, Bruce Shushu Carrington is able to capture the WBC vacant featherweight championship against Carlos Castro by unanimous decision, scores of 77-75, 78-74, and 79-73. Shushu Carrington improves to 17-0, still undefeated. Carlos Castro goes down to 30 wins, 4 losses. The last one we'll talk about here, Jarrell Big Baby Miller is able to eke out a win, but loses his hair in the process against Kingsley eBay with the scores of 97-93, 94-96 for eBay, and 97-93 with a split decision win for Jarrell Miller. We hope he fixes his little topper there in the process. He improves to 27-1-2. Kingsley eBay drops to 16 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. All right, let's go back to the top here and talk about Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. Everyone recognizes Shakur Stevenson's talent. He's an Olympic silver medalist. Everyone expects so much of Shakur Stevenson, and I gotta say, I had picked Teofimo Lopez in this fight. I thought he was gonna come with something nasty, something different maybe. He always seems to rise to the occasion in these big fights. He always seems to play down to the level of his opponents, but when it's time to really step up against great competition like Vasily Lomachenko and Josh Taylor, he really does come through, and he doesn't come through a little. He really does shine in these moments. We'll talk a little bit about his performance in a little bit, but Shakur Stevenson comes in and does what he needed to do. It was really one of the best boxing exhibitions I had ever seen. He came in and he's really good at catching and countering to the point where it must be so frustrating for Teofimo Lopez or for anybody who takes on Shakur Stevenson. And I was actually surprised Teofimo couldn't get to him more like William Zepeda. Zepeda has a very aggressive style. I thought Shakur would be able to handle something like that a little, easier, but he didn't. He had a hard time with Zepeda. So part of that was one of the reasons why I was picking Teofimo Lopez, because I thought, well, if Teofimo sees what Zepeda did, maybe Teofimo, with his athleticism and how good a boxer he is, he's able to switch back and forth from both being aggressive and then going back to a boxing style, trying to lure Shakur into some sort of trap. And he was able to counter him when he needed to and then be aggressive when he needed to. I also wanted him to make it a little bit more of a dirty fight. I thought that he would do that. Not that I really wanted it, but he never really did. Shakur was there to be hit. He didn't run. Teofimo just couldn't hit him. And after a few rounds of Teofimo, he was doing what he needed to do as far as he had plan A, but it wasn't working for him. Shakur just looked like he knew what he was going to do before he even did it. And then when you were thinking maybe Teofimo can change up his game plan, I wanted him to be more aggressive. I thought he needed to be more aggressive from the get-go. But I can see why he would start with what he's good at. he was boxing. He was trying to be a little bit of a puncher, initiating a lot of the exchanges. But Shakur was just getting the best of him easily. Maybe he thought Shakur would slow down a little bit. I don't know if he thought that. I thought he could slow Shakur down if he went to the body a little bit more. He had to make it a little bit of a dirtier fight. He had to get inside on him. He had to kind of bully him and push him around. He is the bigger guy. Not to say that Shakur isn't. He filled out really well to 140. He looks really strong at 140, but I thought Teofimo, as he was already used to that weight and having been there, I thought he would try to bully him, even if he made it look bad. Like, who cares? Make it look ugly, get inside, try to take it to his body, slow him down so he can't move so well. I don't know if that would have worked, but it would have been, at least it would have been a modification of a game plan. Teofimo Lopez is a great talent. He looked like he was doing what he always does, and it's usually enough. But he ran up against a guy who was just really fast, really good, and really strong. Shakur reminds me of kind of like I used to hear stories about Floyd, and people would say like, "Oh, Floyd Mayweather doesn't have a lot of power." But I used to hear things like he did have a lot of power, so enough that yeah, he wouldn't knock you out, but you didn't want to get in exchanges with him because it was painful. He had that, maybe he had that kind of power. Maybe Shakur is the same way, although Teofimo Lopez never looked like he was wobbly or he was on his skis or anything like that. Nor was he really kind of getting backed up. Not that Shakur would ever go forward with it, but he was getting touched up. You saw on his face, his forehead looked huge. So he was getting touched. He was getting beat. And there was no plan B. There was nothing. There was plan A, and let's just keep doing that. You could watch a round of this fight and put it on repeat because that's all it was. Teofimo could not either figure something out or his corner couldn't figure something out. I got to say something about his corner and his dad because his dad's in his corner. His dad was giving him like rah-rah advice in the corner. And yeah, that's fine when you're fighting a Cambosis type guy, a good fighter, but not like Shakur is he's a brilliant fighter. This guy's got talent you don't see very often. Once in a decade, there's always someone that comes along with talent like that. Terrence Crawford, although he's a different type of fighter, he has talent like that. Mayweather had talent like that. Yeah, there's other people like Pacquiao, De La Hoya, Alexander Usyk. They have a lot of talent, but it's a different type of talent here as far as the way they fight. Or oriented around defense, and Shakur did that well. It was I haven't seen boxing like that in quite a while. Lomachenko type stuff. So it was outstanding work by Shakur. He just befuddled Teofimo Lopez, and I wish Lopez had a better corner. I know it's him and his dad, for better or for worse. That's fine. That's maybe that's to their detriment, maybe not. I don't know. I'd rather lose with my dad than win with anybody else. That's your decision. But I just didn't like the game plan, the decision making, the lack of a game plan, whatever you want to call it, in the Lopez corner. I think Teofimo deserves, better. I wish he had like a real tactician or somebody that can instill a little bit more of an aggressive style. I don't think Teofimo's too old to learn new tricks either, especially as he starts to get older. Maybe his athleticism doesn't take him as far as it used to, but he's only 28 years old, and so is Shakur. Shakur just seems like a younger 28 than Teofimo Lopez. But Teofimo, his corner, I don't think they did him any favors. I think he could have handled a plan A, a plan B, a plan C. And yeah, it may not have worked. It probably wouldn't. Shakur was on fire this night. He just looked unbeatable. I'm not sure anybody could have beat Shakur this night. Now, getting into a little bit of criticism here. As good as Shakur is, as good as Teofimo Lopez is, I mean, this does happen in when you have two really talented fighters. Like I said, you could have played one round on this on repeat and watched the whole fight. Basically, that's what happened. Shakur pitched a near shutout, and he was never in danger. He was even saying it was too easy. He was slow. This was too easy. If it was too easy, why don't you go forward and try to like make a statement and take out Teofimo Lopez? That would have been a hell of a statement to make, to take out someone like Teofimo Lopez. But I never saw him puts his foot on the gas. He's a sports car. He's a beautiful, fast sports car. He puts it in cruise control around 75, but then he doesn't step on the gas and try to finish it. And you can disagree with me. I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with me. Not that I like Shakur. I always thought he had a lot of talent, but I mean, when it's time to, if you have a guy like this, it would be nice to see him just take a little bit of a chance. Now, if he takes a chance and then he gets caught a little bit and he's like, whoa, 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 I don't know if I want, this is a little too risky. Okay, I can see that, but he was happy to keep it at 75. He got a lead, and he never once thought, let me see if I can put this guy away. Let me go plan B, even though plan A is working great. Maybe instead of being a prize boxer, I can throw in a little prize fighting. And I didn't see that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I watched the whole fight. I want to see him press that threat and show Teofimo Lopez, not only am I going to pitch a shot at it against you, I'm going to drop you. I'm going to drop you. I'm going to take you out. I think it would have been good for Shakur to like step on that gas, because to tell you the truth, although it was brilliant boxing, this fight's going to be filed under never going to watch again. It'll fall to the bottom of the DAZN library there, and I'll never watch it again unless I have to pull it out to show somebody like, oh, this is what I mean when I say, counter, catch and counter. Like I said, I'll never watch this again. It is what it is. It was brilliant for its time. It lasts one night and then it's all over. It's almost like he's a victim of his own talent. He's too good to almost be exciting without stepping forward. I would like to see him go forward. Yeah, he captures another title in a fourth weight division, and that's the goal. And after the fight, when someone has to explain what boxing is, which is what he did after the fight, he goes, "This is boxing. Hit, not get hit." Yeah, you're right. I agree with that. I know there's going to be a lot of haters being like, "Oh, well, that's boxing. You must not really like boxing." No, I do like boxing, but this is prize fighting as well. And if you're that ahead, I mean, if it was neck and neck, and we were talking about six rounds to 5 going into the last, yeah, obviously don't do that. But it would have been nice for him, for his career, to really step on that gas. And I think he could have at least put him on his back foot and made him look really vulnerable here. But he never did that, and he just cruised to a unanimous decision that everybody knew was coming. So I'm not gonna say it was lackluster. It's great to see boxing talent like that. It's always something to see. You marvel at it, and then it goes away, and then it's all over. I don't know what's gonna happen with Teofimo from here. It seems like I saw some rumors that he might be going up to 147. I think that's that would be a good decision for him. Go up to 147, see what he can do there. I wish he would get another trainer in there, maybe not to replace his dad, but I'm not sure if his dad plays well with others. And then we can see what he can do, but that probably won't happen. I always thought he can be somewhat entertaining when he wants to be, and he's always entertaining leading up to fights. And Shakur Stevenson, he'll probably have a long career where he doesn't get hit. And then I understand that what I'm asking him to take risks, and a lot of these people today that they don't want to take risks. That's fine. That it's their career. They can do whatever they want. I don't have to watch it. This card was on pay-per-view on DAZN. So it's either $45 a month for 12 months or $450 to $500 for the entire year, or you pay what, $70 or $60 for the just the pay-per-view. This card had the best boxing on it, but it wasn't as exciting as others that we're going to talk about. It wasn't compelling. It was what it was. We knew Keyshawn Davis was going to beat Jermaine Ortiz. And it happened just like we thought. Shishu Carrington with Castro. That's exactly what we thought. There was nothing compelling on this card except for Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson. And Shakur came through with what he needed to do, but it just, you're asking people to pay for this type of stuff which we already almost knew what was going to happen, except for the Shakur fight. And most people had picked Shakur. I was on the other side. I went the complete other way. Just had a little bit of faith in Lopez, thinking he would come up with something different, something nasty. But most people had a Shakur. Most people had this thing called exactly the way it was going to happen. I kind of like the way Keyshawn Davis in his fight against Jermaine Ortiz, he was winning the fight. Well, I thought he was winning the fight pretty easy, and then he sends him down in the 11th, and you're like, okay, that puts it. That puts his fight away, but instead of just cruising to that decision that was always coming, he steps on it and he's able to stop Jermaine Ortiz in the last round, which is terrific. That's exactly what you want to see. I want to see someone put their foot on the gas and really just make a statement. Like, I took this guy out that other people couldn't, that Lomachenko couldn't, and that Teofimo Lopez, they couldn't take out Jermaine Ortiz, and I did. Statement made. Good job for Keyshawn Davis. That's exactly what I want to see out of somebody. And Keyshawn Davis is a great talent, amazing talent, another Olympian. All right, so I'm excited to see Keyshawn Davis again. I hope he continues doing that. Box your way to an advantage, and then step on the gas. And if you step on the gas and it's not working out, then yeah, you can pull off. That's fine. I'm all about that. So this was the least memorable card of the entire weekend. And Miller, poor Miller, man, he lost his hair during the during that fight. He's able to eke out a win against Kingsley eBay. But if you haven't seen that, man, go check that out. I don't know what was going on, but he had a good attitude about it at the end. Good for him. That was kind of an embarrassing moment for Miller, but hey, man, that things like that happen if you want to wear a topper or a toupee in the fight. You don't need to do all that, man. Just go ahead, just shave it all off. Just shave it all off and keep hitting people. Let's move on. I'm gonna save my favorite card for the end. Let's move on to the fight out of Puerto Rico. Because this one was decent. Xander Zayas gets the win over Abbas Baru, and he is now the WBO super welterweight champion, and I think he's also, I thought it was also for the WBA super welterweight championship. So anyways, Xander Zayas improves 23 wins, no losses, and Abbas Baru is down to 17 wins, 2 losses. Let me make sure that is correct. Yeah, 17 wins, 2 losses. So Xander Zayas, he wins by majority decision, 116, 112 on 2 cards, 112, 116 for Baru on another. And Xander Zayas did his job. He did what he needed to do against Abbas Baru, maybe a little bit closer than I would have thought before. That was a good fight for Xander Zayas. We'll see what's next for him. At 154, there's a lot of talent up there in that area. It'll be interesting to see what him and Top Rank have planned. Hopefully they can get some of those fights from Matchroom or other champions in the 154 division. Moving on. Actually, you know what? Before I move on to the next one, I wanted to mention that the Carlos Adames fight against Austin Williams was canceled. That was for the middleweight championship. Yeah, middleweight champion Carlos Adames. He pulled out for dehydration, and that fight never happened on that Madison Square Garden card. So we hope he gets better, but that was a buzzkill. That fight, it was like almost a co-main event that got scratched off. So let's move on to a big fight in the UK. Bakram Murtazaliev, the guy that everyone was scared of. He couldn't get a fight. He hasn't fought since 2024. I don't know if he couldn't get a fight or he just didn't get a fight that he wanted. I know he wanted some bigger names, couldn't seem to really get them. He goes to the United Kingdom to take on Josh Kelly, and Bakram Murtazaliev loses a close decision, 115-111 for Josh Kelly, 114-113 for Josh Kelly, and 113-113 for the winner. And new IBF super welterweight champion Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly improves to 18-1-1, and Bakram Murtazaliev takes his first loss at 23 wins, 1 loss. Now, let's talk about this fight a little bit because I was really interested in seeing Murtazaliev fight. I only got to see that fight with Tim Tszyu on a replay. No one really knew who he was before that, but then after that fight, and he was able to get that title from Tim Tszyu, that it was, people thought that Josh Kelly was just going to get in there and just can get completely murdered. But Josh Kelly goes in there and he does his version of William Skull, and just moving around that ring. He's a boxer. He moves around, moving around that ring, huge ring, and huge home crowd. Murtazaliev had trouble catch. I don't know if it was the inactivity, but Murtazaliev had a lot of trouble getting to Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly was able to catch Murtazaliev coming in one time off balance, and was able to send him down to the canvas with a nice counter. Did it hurt Murtazaliev? I don't think it did, but it was a knockdown, for, a real one, just like the one that sent down Tank Davis. But this one was actually counted. So Murtazaliev, he had trouble getting to Josh Kelly. He was able to get to him in the 9th round, and it did look like Josh Kelly was hurt. Now, let's talk about this fight. Yeah, Josh Kelly won. He won by doing a lot of moving, a lot of boxing, and people can say what they want. That's boxing, brilliant boxing, this and that. I don't know if it was brilliant. It wasn't like Shakur or anything like that. Josh Kelly was not trying to get into it with Bakram, smartly, because when he did stay there in front of him, Bakram Murtazaliev got to him. So this is the difference. Josh Kelly, he used his boxing talent to move around the ring, and he couldn't really take chances with Bakram Murtazaliev because he saw what happened. It sent him down to the canvas. He couldn't take punches from Murtazaliev, and he knew that. So I'm not going to fault him on stepping on the gas and trying to take out Murtazaliev, because that just was not going to happen, and he knew that wasn't going to happen. Murtazaliev just couldn't get to Josh Kelly very often, but it's the activity. Josh Kelly, although he was countering and getting some punches in there, it seems like there's like almost two styles of boxing now. There's fighting, and then there's boxing, and there's a lot of they're rewarding a lot of the moving around the ring. Now, I know people are gonna say like it's boxing, that's what you're supposed to do, but it's just not. I don't want to watch it. I don't think a lot of people do want to watch it, and we'll talk about the differences. I want to call it traditional boxing as opposed to like what Zuffa is trying to do, or I think they're trying to do in their version of the sport. It just seems like Josh Kelly he has the home crowd. The people commentating were just, it was super biased. Just, I mean, they couldn't even hide it. It was horrible. Yeah, it's in the United Kingdom. You have to expect that thing, but Jesus, man, it was terrible. Just completely biased. Uh, a little bit of impartiality, man. Fake it if you have to. I have my favorites too, but I try to at least try to like keep some semblance of integrity with it, and just call them, call balls and strikes. Josh Kelly, he did a Williams skull. He thinks if you pitter pat or you like throw a quick punch and you do hit someone's score, it's like Olympic style boxing. And yeah, I love amateur boxing as much, but that's amateurs. It's not pro. And I think that there should be more emphasis on the aggression. I know it has to be effective, but effective aggression. If I saw this fight, I would never say that Murtazaliev lost that fight. He did look touched up. I mean, Kelly was getting to him, but not like Murtazaliev was getting to Kelly. It was just not a pleasing fight to watch. Another fight that I'll be like, I don't want to watch that crap again. It was boring. And the only thing exciting about it was Murtazaliev trying to get to this guy. Now, Murtazaliev probably shouldn't. He should have cut the ring off better. He made some mistakes in this fight. He should have cut the ring off better. He was chasing Kelly around. I don't know because Kelly was super fast or what was going on, but he couldn't cut off the ring. Maybe because he hasn't fought since 2024. That's on Bakram Murtazaliev and his camp. They need to get him in the ring more often so he doesn't get rusty like this. Just terrible. Yeah, a guy like that, that's the thing. When you have a guy who thrives on aggression, who is more puncher than boxer, and I'm sure Bakram can box well, but when you're more puncher than boxer, or that's your bread and butter, you have to be in the ring constantly. Yeah, I think boxers can take longer layoffs, take less fights, take less chances because that's their style. But if you're a guy if you're a boxer puncher and lean more to the puncher side, you need to stay fresh. You need to stay away from that rust. And Murtazaliev, to his detriment, 2 years out of the ring, a year and a half, I don't think that's going to work. Not against a guy like Josh Kelly. Maybe it would work against a guy that's more more of a brawler, but not like Josh Kelly. This guy's gonna run around the ring, which was huge, and then and just outlast you for the 12 rounds. You know, the athleticism these days is off the charts. These people can move around the ring for 12 rounds, no problem. Back in the day, it was harder. And Bakram just not cutting off the ring, chasing him around. It didn't bode well for him. And you know what? Although Kelly, you know, he's the one, he was running around the ring, looking like Tom and Jerry. Murtazaliev could not stop it, so that's on him. There's skill and there's an art to boxing, but when it gets to be that's all you're doing, when it becomes paint by numbers as opposed to painting something with emotion, it just doesn't sit well with me. Murtazaliev, I'm not mad at the decision. I'm mad at the style. I wish I was hoping Josh Kelly didn't just straight up run around the ring, and I was hoping Murtazaliev was good enough to stop that, which he wasn't. Josh Kelly couldn't stop himself from running around, and Murtazaliev couldn't stop the running. So that's on Murtazaliev. You know, my advice for Murtazaliev is, I don't think the boxing world in traditional boxing, I don't think they don't appreciate your style of fighting anymore. If I were him, I would sign with Zuffa, and I think he could be a star there, and I think they'd appreciate his style more than the others. There's just, it's more rewarding for a guy like that with that kind of style to be in something like Zuffa. Maybe now he'll get fights, but he's still dangerous. It's now he lost all his leverage. He has no title to leverage anymore. We'll see what happens with this. I'm not really interested in seeing Josh Kelly. If he fights Xander Zayas, I guess it's a decent fight. Okay, but I'm not interested in seeing Josh Kelly. It was just atrocious. It's not something I want to see on TV. This was on DAZN, but thank God it wasn't a pay-per-view and I had to pay for it. It just happened to be on earlier that day. But Murtazaliev he was a reason why I got the subscription to DAZN. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully Murtazaliev makes some good decisions with his career and learns how to cut off a ring a little bit better. And we'll see what happens with this one. All right, moving on. Surprisingly, my favorite card of the weekend was the Zuffa ZO2 card at the Meta Apex. And I'll tell you why. So I know that there's no like huge names here. There's no Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson. We got just guys that, you know, fight. And the first ZO1 card with Callum Walsh, it was underwhelming. I said it looked sterile. It looked underwhelming. I didn't like it. The crowd sucked, and the commentators. Oh, don't get me started. I don't want to. Actually, the commentators were worse. They were worse this time than they were last time. I should clarify. It's not even the commentators, because I think Joe Tessitore is who he is. I think he's okay. Sometimes he gets a little excited, gets too Mauro Ranallo for me. And this is coming from a guy who, I don't like Mauro Ranallo, man. It seems fake. His excitement seems fake. Maybe it's real, but I can't. It's horrible. Just terrible. I can't stand it. That's the only part of like traditional boxing I wish was still around, where the commentators, man, you know, like I've seen Jim Lampley get excited, you know, overly excited sometimes. And it was just kind of funny because he would keep it classy. Like most of the time he would just call the fight. Holy crap, man. Max Kellerman is out of control. He's out of control. I don't know what's going on with him. He needs to knock it off, man. Andre Ward is a good commentator. I was never the biggest Andre Ward fan, but I like him commentating. I think he's insightful. I do like it. Nothing against him, except for, geez, man. Max Kellerman cannot stop just complimenting Andre Ward. It just, like, knock it off, man. You guys need to like do that offline. I can't take that anymore. Moving on, I had to say it was horrible. Try to listen to it with the sound off. Zuffa's got to do something about it. They've got to see that. They've got to see that that's not working, or at least Max not working. And I was a fan of Max a long time ago, before he got onto HBO, back when he was like on Around the Horn and stuff like that. I don't know what happened to him, man. He just seems like he's you have the job, man. You don't have to. Are you fighting for that job or something? I don't know what's going on, but he just needs to turn it down. I can't take it anymore. I was little by little, I'm turning down the volume because I'm like, I can't listen to this thing. This dude's just killing me. Anyways, so after my little rant there, but it's seriously, it's got to get looked at. Great card. ZO2. I was saying that this should have been the first card because I think it would have made a bigger splash. But I can see why they saved it for like the second or third. But this was the second. Maybe the first one is just trial and error. Callum Walsh, he was dried toast. It was what it was what it was. It was kind of like what traditional boxing is. This was more like today, like this was more prize fighting as opposed to prize boxing. This was prize fighting. It was compelling. Some of it was upsetting. It was insane. It was just last night, man. It was, and I was like, oh, I'll catch a Zuffa card. Hopefully it's good because that Callum Walsh card left me kind of like, this is just the same old crap. Nope. We're gonna go over the main card here because actually the whole card, which was lengthy, a lot of like up and comers, good fighters, good fights. And they were pretty exciting. You could see kind of people put it together, and there were some people on there that were not very good, but it was still somewhat exciting. So the main card on this one was Jose Valenzuela versus Diego Torres, and Jose Valenzuela was able to beat Diego Torres in a great fight. Jose Valenzuela, he improves to 15-3. Diego Torres down to 22-2. Sergey Boachuk improves to 27-3 against Radzab Butayev, who goes down to 16-2. Let me see if I can get this correct. Radovoy Kalicic against Alexander Gavoldzik. Kalicic goes by the name of Hot Rod, which is much easier to say than his first name. So Hot Rod Kalicic improves to 30 wins, 3 losses, with a come from behind win against Alexander Gavoldzik, who goes down to 21-3. And this fight was outstanding. So we're gonna start with this fight right here. Outstanding, man. So Kalicic against Alexander Gavoldzik. Now, I remember Gavoldzik from back in the day, man. He was a terror, especially when he took out Adonis Stevenson. This guy is super strong, man. He really lives up to the name the nail. And this is a light heavyweight bout. And Kalicic down in round number 1. And I mean, it looked like it was over. In round number 1, I'm like, oh, man, he doesn't look good. And Gavoldzik stays patient. I'm like, man, look at Gavoldzik. He looks really good. He knocks him down, stays patient, boxing him up, just looking great, man. It wasn't close at all at this point. Hot Rod just getting schooled, getting beat. He's down in round 4. Kalicic goes down in round 4. And I'm like, oh, man, it's just a matter of time. And actually, the commentators, they were saying they thought this was written on the wall, and it was just a matter of time. Or we were going to go all 10, and Gavoldzik was going to get a lopsided victory here. And then in round 7, Kalicic, he goes to his corner. His corner gives him some advice, really kind of like gets behind him and tells him that he's got to really step on it, not lying to him. They're not lying that he's down. And they're telling him that he's got to step up his game. They give him his advice. He goes in round 7, drops Gavoldzik twice. The first time, Gavoldzik looked pretty hurt. And I was like, oh, this doesn't look good, but it wasn't. I didn't think he was out of it. And then he gets knocked down again with a vicious punch. Just drops. He was done before the ref could even finish the count. He stops it, and it's all over. Kalicic comes back from behind, man. I had him winning damn near every round probably. And not only that, he had already lost 2 of those rounds by 2 or more points. He didn't. There was no time in the entire fight that I thought Kalicic was actually winning this fight or was going to win this fight. And he just comes back from behind that. And Gavoldzik, I mean, it's not like this guy was like, oh, I'm going to go for it right now and try to take this guy out. He didn't. He was doing what he was doing because what he was doing was already working. He was already getting him knockdowns. But he got caught. I don't know if he got tired or what and let down his guard because the guard dropped a little bit, but it wasn't dropping. He didn't look like he was breathing hard or anything like that. So Kalicic, he's a good fighter, and he's lost to like Better Be even, but he comes back and takes out Alexander Gavoldzik to improve. both of these guys I think are gonna do well in Zuffa because I want to see these guys again, whether it be against each other or whether it is against other people. I don't care, man. I'm gonna remember Hot Rod Kalicic, and I've already knew who Alexander Gabolczyk was because he was, even though he's not super old, he was he's been around for a while, and he had some really nice ones to get, especially against Adonis Steve. That was a crazy, that was, oh, that was a I mean, poor Adonis Stevenson really got hurt in that fight. So I'm excited to see these guys again. I believe me, I already knew who Gabolczyk was, but Kalicic, I know he fought better Beeve, but I wasn't super familiar with him. But I am now, and I want to see this guy fight, especially if I know that if this guy's maybe down, he's never out. Good for him. Great fight, especially to start off the main card. I started off the main card, and I was like, oh man, where could we go from here? It can't get any better. Well, I'm not saying it got any better, but it certainly didn't get any worse because Sergey Boachuk comes and goes in there against Radzab Butayev, and Boachuk, his trainer is Manny Robles, and Butayev in there with Joel Diaz, two great trainers, man, great guys, great trainers. I don't actually know them, so I don't. I'm just saying what I believe. I don't know these guys. I've never met any of them. And Boachuk goes in there, Butayev go in there. They're just hitting, man. They're in a phone booth the whole time. They're just beating on each other. It was brilliant. It's exactly what I needed after, that castor oil from the night before. Although, like I said, it wasn't terrible in Madison Square Garden. It's just what it is, what it was. The only thing I remember about it is it wasn't memorable. This was memorable, man. Boachuk, flawed as he is, Butayev, flawed as they are, they're exciting. And yeah, no one got knocked down in it, but you didn't really need it. It was a great fight, man. A great fight. Both of these guys, and it ended up being a majority decision for Boachuk. I didn't really agree with that either, but the right guy won. I thought it was hard to call these rounds, really hard. I would say the last two fights, the main and the Boachuk fight, the Valenzuela Torres card, also really hard to call. Close rounds. You didn't really know who was winning. It was almost subjective. But it did seem to me like Boachuk was getting the better of Butayev, and not only that, actually, a lot of the rounds I thought Butayev was winning, but his body language, it was like he was tired. He didn't respond well and Boachuk, he was getting hit, but his body language didn't show like it didn't show it like Butayev. So it could have been things like that things like that really do swing the rounds for you. That judge will see that and think, oh, that punch must have hit harder, and it was much more aggressive punch. It was a better punch, even though it may not have been. You can't show that these punches affect you if you're trying to and you're in close rounds. So I mean, a close fight. I want to see Butayev again. I want to see Boachuk again. I think they're going to do well in Zuffa boxing. I can't wait to see both of these guys again. They went all 10 rounds. Each round was exciting. It was back and forth. And like I said, it wasn't a one-sided beating that was exciting. They were going back and forth. There was plenty of rounds that Butayev won. I thought he won the first two easy. And it was and Sergey Boachuk kind of came on. Anyways, moving on to the main event, Jose Valenzuela and Diego Torres. This one was close. They had Jose Valenzuela winning the majority. I know he won 99-91 on all cards, but I had Torres winning a few more rounds than that because I thought he was getting to Valenzuela. I thought he was hitting him really well. Valenzuela was boxing well, boxer puncher type guy, doing really well. I think his skill was able to win it for him, but not that he was relying just on his boxing skill. It was the boxing skill and these punches that were getting to Diego Torres. It was just an outstanding fight, man. Nobody, like in the same one in this one, nobody went down, but it didn't have to. It was exciting all the way through. And this card really was exactly what boxing needed. It's exactly what Zuffa needed, because that first card was, like I said, not memorable. It was stale, and it was the same old. And this card is exactly what I thought they were going to go for. These are the kind of fighters they want. And I mean, yeah, it would be crazy to ever want to sign someone who is a great talent, but I don't need that. I actually I don't need it. I can see that somewhere else, or and I know what to expect. I don't want to go to. I don't want to watch a Zuffa card or go to a Zuffa card and just expect the favorite to win and expect it to be probably a great boxing exhibition. Yeah, there's a time and place for that. It's great to see that, and I'd rather see that on TV than live. Zuffa needs to look at this. Dana White needs to look at this and be like, I need exactly what those guys gave. Exactly what those guys gave. Give them the bonuses. So it makes others want to get to this level. No one, you don't have to go down. It just needs to be a really good, compelling fight. Even if it is one sided, like the Jose Valenzuela fight, it was exciting the whole time. I was stuck to the TV the entire time. Like I'm trying to watch, turning down the volume just to get through this fight. Uh, so and not only that, the crowd was, I don't know who they let into that crowd. I bet you the first time, since it was the first card with Callum Walsh, I bet you they had a bunch of like executives and like VIPs in there, and it was Saturday night, so it was probably like that's why that crowd was booty. And then this one, man, there was people screaming, everyone was into it. You could tell that there were more real fans or family in there, and it wasn't just this that first one was a gala for people who probably didn't know what was going on. The crowd was, it was a complete 180. They were totally into it. It was so much fun. The whole card, man. And then it was on Sunday night. Beautiful, man. The whole thing. I can't believe that the most exciting fight, or the most exciting card of the weekend, not counting UFC, but the most um compelling and exciting fights of the weekend ended up being on Zuffa's second card ever. But that's what I think that they're going for. I hope that's what they're going for, because it would be a shame that they tried to mimic uh, uh what other promoters are already doing, which is the traditional style. Let's get these good fighters, and in between these good fighters fighting each other, they fight these other fighters that aren't as good, that we always know who's going to win. When a card or a fight happens exactly the way I thought it was going to happen, and I don't have to kind of go out on a limb, just be on the opposite side of everyone else's opinions, I think that's good for the sport. Things are just, it's gotten pretty stale in boxing. That's why I think a lot of people they've gone over to MMA and UFC, because uh, it gives you the excitement that you're always looking for. I wanted to talk about what's going on with boxing these days. Okay, it's like rap music from back in the day compared to today. I would say rap music today is like, it's it's probably technically superior with, the way it's delivered, but it's not as fun. It was way funner back in the day, late 80s, 90s. Not that that was the start of it, but it was just funner. There was more emotion into it. It was rougher, but it was just better. Yeah, today, yeah, I'm sure on a piece of paper, if it was a test, you would ace that test, as opposed to back in the day, it was probably a C, and probably technically it wasn't great, but it was. I mean, I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but that's what I get out of it. Boxing, you got these superior athletes these days. They're really good at what they do. They can hit and not get hit. But is it the matchmaking? Maybe, probably. I mean, matchmaking and promoters, that's gone the same way. They put a cat in the oven. They try to call it a biscuit, and it's just not. You can pour syrup on crab, but that doesn't make it a pancake. And I think that's what they try to do. And I hope Zuffa is not doing that. Don't give me crap and tell me that it's delicious. It's not. I'm not gonna be one of these guys. I don't get paid by any of these guys. I'm not influenced at all. I'll talk crap or talk well about anything. Uh, that's why I wasn't mad at Zuffa for trying to do something different. Don't you go ahead, do something different. To me, boxing is fractured, and I think it needs. I think it neither needs competition, but don't bring me the same game. Bring me something different. Get me these guys. Make them stars. Put a lot of press behind them. Give them the Performance Institute. Get these guys in good health. and give them a reason to want to go there. I hope Murtazaliev goes there. No joke, man. I hope Murtazaliev goes there because no one wants to fight him, or if he does, or they do, they make him go to England and run a track meet. Murtazaliev is not a track star, man. He's not going to do that. He's not Usain Bolt. He wants to go in there. He wants to fight. And that guy does not need to be, chasing these boxers, unless he wants to learn how to cut off the ring, man. You know what? Don't learn to cut off the ring and come over to Zuffa and do something different. It was the second card of their company, and I thought it was great. I want to see more of this, and I want to see less of DAZN. I mean, although I have a subscription to DAZN, so I'm going to be watching more of that. I watch it because I love boxing, man, and I can always turn it off. I don't have to watch it. But believe me, I'm pretty sure most of the cards this year will be, I'll watch them and then they'll get filed under never watch again. Believe me, I won't. I'm not one to like stick with a card that's just completely sucks. If if that fight stinks, I'll just turn it off. I'll be honest. So there's a Madison Square Garden card. So you got the card on DAZN, and I'm watching UFC. I'm like, well, I'll watch that card when I'm done here. And yeah, I watched UFC first, which was on Paramount, and then I go over to DAZN and try to and then I watch the Teofimo card. Then I watch the undercards after that. I pick UFC over the undercard the whole time because it's just more exciting, man. I'm not trying to fall asleep on a Saturday night. I'm trying to, I'll fall asleep to the undercards later after it's all done. Not only that, freaking that Teofimo fight didn't start until like midnight in New York. Thank God I live in Arizona and it was like 10 here. So, and I can tell a lot from him, man, because I had my father-in-law over and my mother-in-law. And yeah, my UFC's on, everyone's up, we're all had a good time. And then as soon as Shakur comes out with Teofimo Lopez, yeah, asleep. Yeah, out like a light, man. And that's the only kind of knocking out that Shakur does, man, is knocking you out on your couch because it was not compelling, man. Teofimo's fault too. He wasn't doing more. He should have done more, made it ugly, do something. But that's that's today's boxers. That's today's top boxers. Let's hope that guys like Bochuk, Budayev, Valenzuela, Torres, Khalidzik, and Gvozdzik get a little bit more love. I loved it, man. It was great, except for Max Kellerman. Oh, God, he's got to go, man. He's got to go. This is or just fix yourself, Max. Just stop it. I actually think Andre Ward gets a little uneasy with all the compliments, but fine, whatever. Anyways, so that's all the results from this weekend. So we have a few new champions in Kelly and Shakur Stevenson. He's a new player at 140. Looks like Teofimo's going up to 147. That's going to be interesting. But anyways, hopefully we get some good fights. There's the Ryan Garcia fight against Barrios next month. We'll see what happens with that one. Hopefully Garcia doesn't come to fight like he's training in his living room, like JC Jr. style, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. style, because that didn't work for him, man. I don't think it's gonna work for Ryan Garcia. King Ryan needs to. I don't know, man. I just hope I hope he comes better prepared than that. If not, then it's gonna be Barrios tonight, which I'm, whatever. If Barrios wins. Good for him. He'll have a draw over with Pacquiao and a win over Garcia. And I just think if Ryan Garcia loses that fight, man, it's downhill from there. But we'll see what happens on that card. Anyways, I know that there's another ZO3 card coming up, or a Zuffa card coming up in a couple weeks, and we'll get with you on that. And I'll have to look up the schedule and see what other fights are going on. Me and the dog are going to try to get on later this week for the result fights with UFC 325. Great card, pretty exciting. A lot of it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go, but it's okay, man. It's okay. I'll tell the truth. I call it the way I see it. I'm always wrong. It happens all the time. And yeah, just take a look at these cards. If you have them, look them up on YouTube. I'm sure you can find a way to see them if you don't have a DAZN subscription or Paramount. But yeah, for sure, try to check out those last three: Bochuk, Budayev, Valenzuela versus Torres, and Khalidzik versus Gvozdzik. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for staying with me during my rants. I know I'm kind of off here and there, but it's all right, man. That's why we do it. I'm trying to get better here. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys at the fights.